Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Here with Sam. I want to introduce what we're going to be doing here on a weekly, kind of bi-weekly basis. Today, we're going to learn all about Sam, his background, the origination story for OOOOO, and then going forward, we'll mix in some industry topics and some Q&As. So please, anything you want to see or questions you have, drop it below and we'll make sure it gets in a future video. First things first, Sam, how are you?
Very good. I've just finished a 2-hour walk. I had a meeting with someone in the team. So we decided to take a 2-hour walk around London, looking at all the retail districts, which was, so I got my exercise and also a bit of a read on where the retail space is. So I feel great after that walk.
Exercise and some research. Love that. Okay, well, awesome. Well, we'll chat about what you're seeing in industry changes in another video. This one, love to dive into kind of more about you. I know a lot of people not even sure of what your background is, but a star-studded kind of resume. Usually like to kick it off with like first couple jobs, and we'll walk it through like early part of your career, things you did, and then obviously kind of starting new.
Sure. Well, I think one of my most important jobs was my first, and that was age 14. I had a paper round in Manchester for 2 years. I grew up in the UK till I was 10. And when I was 10, I moved to Hong Kong. So I was doing business in Asia very, very young. And I think I had very good memories of living in Hong Kong for over 4 years. And then we moved back from Hong Kong to Manchester. And I picked up my first job. I always wanted to be a paper boy, and I was always kind of an entrepreneur at heart. And so for 2 years, I'd pedal my bike every morning and some afternoons delivering papers. In the afternoon, it was the Manchester Evening News. In the mornings, it was anything from the Sun to the Times. I think it was just a great work ethic for me. I then studied in the UK, in Manchester, did my A-levels, and then went to Salford University, where I studied business studies, and a 4-year course with 1 year in industry. And I managed to get one of 12 spaces in the head office of Marks and Spencer on Baker Street, which is a very iconic British retailer. And as fate would have it, in this year out, I was placed in this new department called Direct Mail, which was a catalog business, which soon became a web business. This is 1997 or 1998. So my second job was working for this true institution of British retail, started by this Jewish family in Yorkshire, but it's become, one of the most iconic retailers in Europe. And yeah, I just got to learn merchandising and selection, and learn how to use a spreadsheet. So I did that for a year, and having been totally sold on the future of direct mail and e-commerce back in the late 90s, I went back to finish my final degree. And again, as fate would have it, it was 1999, and my home city of Manchester, their local team, which happened to be my enemy, is called Manchester United. They won the treble in 1999. So I started a direct mail business selling sports artwork, selling artwork of Manchester United's treble, which I managed to get all this artwork signed by Beckham, Giggs, Solskjaer, 3 very big players at the time.
Yeah.
And I had a very famous artist paint paintings of their goals that won them this 3 trophies. So, and I built my own direct mail operation selling this artwork all over the world. This funded my final year of university. So my first 3 jobs, a kind of paper round, intern in a great company, and thirdly, my own company, aged 19 or 20. I was selling artwork all over the world. And that was a kind of baptism of fire, in that we sold a lot of artwork, but I had no idea how to run a business. And so I started applying after I'd had my luck on this particular campaign of Manchester United winning. I decided I needed a real job with real training. So I applied for the best graduate scheme around, which was Anderson Consulting, which I applied, and I was managed to get into their grad program in London. And that soon became Accenture. And I spent 3 years working in Accenture on very large technology implementation programs, where I really didn't have any idea what I was doing, but they were very, very good companies, like British Telecom, international telcos, banks. I was part of the change management programs, and so I was there for 3 years, met my wife in this company. She was my boss on a project. And when we met, it turned out she'd also lived in Hong Kong, and when we met, we decided to go traveling out east. So we moved to Australia, And that was the start of 10 years or so in Australia, Singapore, and Hong Kong, which ultimately led me to getting into this business once I could see the future of commerce, mainly out of China.
Yeah, well, impeccable story. Holy smokes. A lot of moving, so incredible. But okay, now walk me through really you start at the beginning of what feels like e-commerce. Even when you're calling it direct mail back in those days, sounds like some great timing, hard work, a lot of like you say, kind of, sink or swim mentality. And now
Yeah.
you're in Asia for 10 years. So what happens while you're in Asia? Just curious.
Yeah, so I moved to Australia in 2004, having done a few years in management consulting and really know nothing about anything. And I met a headhunter in Sydney, and he said to me, "You would make a great headhunter." And I said, "There's no way I want to be an estate agent or a headhunter. What other jobs have you got?" And he said, "No, no, no. With your personality and your drive and your desire to earn money, you'd be a great headhunter." So I became a financial markets headhunter in 2004, and I just had a knack for finding the right people for the right job. So I did this in Australia for 3 years. I started to place a lot of bankers into Singapore and Hong Kong. 2007, I moved to Singapore with my family. I ended up buying a business there a few years later, and I was just doing institutional equities. So sales, trading, research for Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, banks like this. And I was in Singapore for a few years. Then I branched out into Hong Kong, which is really the center of Asian equities. Throughout this time, I was probably doing this for like 10 years. I became very connected, with not only with bankers, but also hedge fund managers and just entrepreneurs in Asia. And I got to see like a few waves of, not only did I see the collapse of banking in 2008, I saw the very quick rebound, but I also saw I used to place a lot of equity analysts, and you could just see in this late 2000s, you could see the rise of China. And within that, there was this huge trend of consumption upgrade. And what I mean by that is people were going from not having a laptop, car, fridge, phone to suddenly having these things. And Chinese mobile applications became outstanding. Obviously Tencent came in as a gaming company at the core. It then built WeChat, which I think today has 1 billion daily active users. And a lot of devices in China, their first device was mobile. And because of that, they kind of skipped the browser, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So China is today, in my opinion, 5 years ahead on mobile. And I started to, I had a breakthrough moment when I left headhunting in 2012 to build like data visualization and gaming platforms. So I sort of took on an entrepreneurial journey, which is a whole other chapter. This is back in sort of 2012. And I did this for a number of years, but in 2015, 16, I got to meet, while I was in Shanghai, the founders of Musical.ly. And one of these guys is Lewis, who's a friend of mine. And when I visited Musical.ly's office and I saw their video-based lip syncing technology, I was blown away at the potential of this. And it was reinforced because my daughters were on Musical.ly. And I think, a year or two later, they sold the company to ByteDance and it became TikTok. And I was very, very seduced by this video mobile world, which was everywhere in China. And it started as, video as we know it, FaceTime. It then started into like education-based apps. And then it kind of pivoted into lip syncing and TikTok style interfaces. But then it pivoted into shopping, whereby anyone in their bedroom could show a product and sell it. So it was like e-commerce on steroids. It was like QVC for anyone. And when I saw this in 2015, I was just kind of on a journey to how do we bring this to the West. So this is like, I'm trying to condense so much time into a short little piece, but I then spent a few years at Wish, which is a California-based e-commerce company. I was managing director across marketing. And I was in the UK, going back and forth to the US, and it was a very, very fast growth, highly successful company, now public, of course. And throughout my time there, I got a chance to learn, a lot about kind of Western e-commerce, and I kept going back to the way the Chinese did things. And I always say to people, kind of jokingly, half jokingly, that I'm half Chinese, because I grew up in this culture, and I really respect the way the Chinese do business, the speed at which they do business. And yeah, so I think a combination of being at Wish and seeing this Musically technology, I got together with one of the very, very first team members of Musically, Eric Zhang, who's my co-founder. And we started to think through, like, what does video commerce look like in the West? Like, no one's doing it yet, but what would it look like to take, Douyin, which is TikTok's sister, or Kuaishou, which is now public in the US, or Taobao Live, any of these video-based shopping experiences in China, what works in the West and what doesn't work in the West. And we talked about it for months, and then we started to build what is now OOOOO. This is like 18 months ago. Yeah, I think we're onto something very, very big.
Yeah, holy smokes. And it's true what you say, and we can chat about kind of the West versus East. I think there'll be some cool videos that we can do, but how much further ahead Asia is from e-commerce, but also like banking, fintech type stuff. Being able to tap. I remember they were the first. Now you tap your phone, like all this stuff, pioneered obviously in the, in Asia, and now you see it in the Western culture. Pretty interesting. Well, so walk me through so that's kind of the thought. You guys are seeing emerging trends. What's going to work in the West, and then you start up OOOOO. I have to ask, how are you the lucky one to get left with the CEO hat?
Well, I learned the hard way building companies. I was a founder of a few companies, and I've always been a product guy, in terms of very fussy about the way the product works, and always kind of on a journey to simplicity. But I've in the past, I've always had an engineering team, and I felt my experiences told me that I needed an engineering partner in this. So Eric leads our team in Shanghai. He's got 24 people in the team, which is product engineering, QA, and so on. And he's very much my kind of co-founder and partner. But I think I'm the front-facing CEO, the white face, if you like, representing the China innovation. He takes care of engineering. I take care of trying to get things done, raise money, sell, build a team over in the West. But yeah, we're on the phone to each other every single day. It's very much a global team now. But yeah, just to give you some numbers, approximately 1 billion videos a day are created on TikTok. And if you think about TikTok, the way you swipe, it's rapid, intelligent browsing. And there's no surface out there that has got as much liquidity of information about the user. So it serves up even more information. So if you think about adapting this style of shopping into using that surface into more of a retail experience where every video is shoppable, then you're describing basically TikTok's sister, which is called Douyin in China, which has shopping. Now, Alibaba in China is GMV is approximately 700 billion RMB, which is about 100 billion US dollars, something like that. PDD, which is this phenomenal company which we kind of idolize and we learn from, and I think is one of the greatest companies in the last 20 years. Their GMV is 170 to 200 billion RMB. So it's kind of like a third to a quarter of Alibaba's from a kind of GMV perspective. Douyin and Kuaishou, which is this kind of TikTok style short video, is already 100 billion. So it's already a seventh of Alibaba, and it's only just started. Their goal is to get 3 times that. And it's gone up 4 times in the last year. So if you look at commerce in China, video shopping is already 1 in 7, 1 in 6 of the total. But it's going up 4x a year. So for me, I'm thinking I don't actually own a time machine, but I would take a very large bet that what I see happening in China is going to come here. What happened in Musically that became TikTok is happening here. The most downloaded app last year in the world, TikTok. Where's shopping going to go to? Well, I've just spent 2 hours walking around central London. I can tell you it's not going to Oxford Street. It's not going to Fifth Avenue. It's not going to Rodeo Drive. It's not going to the malls or Westfield. It's going to video. It's going to mobile. So really, is we're trying to build a platform that allows retailers, entrepreneurs, manufacturers to show their wares, their products, their services in video, which is designed for a mobile world, where when you watch this video, you don't get pushed out into some third-party application. You actually make the purchase from the video. So what that means is we've built an app which is live in the UK, in the app stores in the UK since November, and the app allows you to record yourself holding a product, and that product is linked to a back end. So we have a whole kind of merchant center back end system that links to the warehouses and logistics platforms of our partners. So we essentially trying to connect up the manufacturer of this battery to someone who is an opinion leader or a creator talking about electronics. And we give them a platform to share and to present a video, either a short video or a live video. And hopefully that's more believable than a JPEG on a website that sells chargers. So this is our main difference is if you compare us to a TikTok or an Instagram, we're not an entertainment platform. We're a pure commerce destination. So every video on our platform is shoppable.
Love it. Well, hey, that's an amazing overview. We're gonna do a deeper dive, and I already see people asking how you different than Instagram, TikTok, others. So I think that's a fantastic segue, and we'll definitely cover that in videos to come. But Sam, this was an awesome video. What an incredible background and some nice origin stories. Lots of cool trends that we'll be able to talk about, and maybe some other ones you've seen, from East become West, and then also talk about kind of the future of social commerce and kind of e-commerce. But Sam, thanks so much. This was a great first video, and look forward to doing another one soon.
Pleasure, dude.